Hi and welcome to Friday's live trading. I hope you're very well. It's 7:45, the usual sort of time when I start the video. So we're having a look through some markets at the moment here in the trading room, and so I'll press pause and we'll come back to this once I've had a look through and seen where any opportunities may lay. Right, okay, just back, and what we're going to do is there's a bit of a divergence here this morning on this dollar yen. Dollar yen's been going up and it's got a bit of a divergence. We've got an untested 8 a.m. pivot below, um, which has got decent odds of getting hit. So I'm going to hit it now, short at 20 here on the dollar yen. I'm a bit late to the party. I've been gassing too much with the guys in the room. So I've just put one unit at the moment, and if it bounces back up, then I'll put a second unit in. So I've put one unit in. I'm going to put a stop just above this high, which is at just above 30. So I'll put a stop in at 31 or so. So I'm just going to get that sorted out. But I will try and get a second unit in, but I've been chatting, so I need to get a little bit of a bounce back up here into the mid-20s, and then I'll get the second unit in. The 8 a.m. pivot, is only at 13. Okay, so the 8 a.m. pivot is only at 13. That's a shame, isn't it? So I thought it was going to be higher. So it's going to be a terrible risk to reward actually this morning. The 8 a.m. pivots have just come in, and it's come up. It's a lot higher than I thought it was going to be. So in fact, the trade is from a risk reward perspective a bit. Not all that. I'm going to make 7 pips, risking 10. That's awful, isn't it? So anyway, we'll see if it comes up a bit. If it gets back up to 25, the second unit would be making 12 pips and only risking 7 or 5 or 6. So that would even the trade out actually a little bit. So I'm just going to get the stop loss in place. I'm just doing that off screen at the moment, and that's got to go up 115 30 32. The stop loss. So I will get that second unit in, and then the risk reward is okay. It's not going to be a very big. I just thought it was going to be a bit further down than that to the 8 a.m. pivot. I was guessing it was going to be a bit lower, so it's not going to be worth a lot. But if we can get up into 115.25, then I'll put a second or maybe even a third unit in just to beef it up a little bit because there's not a lot of pips in it. And then we'll take it from there. But if it just comes straight down to the 8 a.m. pivot, I guess I'll take the profit for all of about £20 or something stupid it will be, and we'll have to look for another trade set up this morning because this one isn't going to be good enough. So let's just watch that as it's coming down. I'll bring the ticket up because it looks like it. So here's the entry at the moment. I should put it. I'll put it here. I want to have both on because before we know it, if this thing bounces, I'll move this one off screen for the second actually. If this thing bounces, then very quickly I want to get a second unit in up in the mid-20s, and then it'll make the risk reward that a little bit better. But bear in mind, it's only 115.13. I'm going to make sure I get a proper full-on hit of that. My entry was at 20.4, so anywhere from 13.4 and below, I will take it for 7 pips. That's terrible, awful. Just didn't. I could have done a projection of where those pivots were going to come in, and then I would have known. But I don't bother most of the time. I thought it was going to be that bit lower this morning. So anyway, this is going to be a pathetic little trade, and so let's just see if it gets there and hits it. So we are 3 minutes in. So I'm conscious of the time, but as we are so close, I just want to keep the recording going for a second here. And so let's see if it can get down there. Is it going to pause? I think it's pausing a little bit just for maybe a minute, so I'll have to press pause myself. Okay, just back. So we didn't quite get down to that pivot, and we're coming up. So reverted back to getting that second unit in. By getting the second unit in up in the mid-20s here, it'll make the overall risk reward that little bit better because getting a unit in at 25 and then still having a 13 target gives me a 12 pip target on that one with only a 7 pip stop. So it makes the overall net risk reward a little bit better, but overall not so good today. I got in before the pivots came in, you see. Excuse me, I took that entry before the pivots came in, thinking the pivot was going to be that bit lower, but I had the ability I could have checked and done a projected pivots to tell me where it was projected to come in, but sometimes you just eyeball a chart and you think, oh yeah, it's going to come in down there, and anyway, it didn't. So that's the plan. If we can bounce back up here, then I'll get that second unit in. Okay, so it looks like we've come down to the pivot. So closing out here. So I've just closed out on dollar yen there. It's just come down to the pivot. So unfortunately, that was a terrible trade. Really. Let's bring it up. Forget this trade here. This is just something I've got, effectively banked at the moment. It's all net square, this trade above. So I've got a couple of thousand banked, sat there waiting for me to cash in at some point. But here's the dollar yen trade. In at 115.20, out at 115.13 for a whopping 7 pips, £50. It pays the petrol for later today, doesn't it? But yeah, so obviously that's not much of a trade here this morning. So we'll be looking for some other opportunities. Now, it'll probably be ironic now that the yen will just carry on falling away here today, because the reason for the trade, it hit an hourly 500, it hit the daily 50, it hit the daily 20, so it hit some moving averages, but the momentum was still up, so overall, so that's why I was only going to hit it small anyway, and I was only looking for and there was a divergence on the 5 minute chart, and the 15, so I wasn't going to be planning to run the trade anymore, because for those reasons. But if it does just fall away today, we could end up saying, "Huh, Charlie, you could have run your trade." Well, that wasn't the plan. I don't have a real reason to want to run the trade, particularly, even though it's hit resistance. I have to have a reason and something building for a trade to warrant me saying, "Okay, this is a trade that I want to try and run." Now, on the flip side of that, I was long yesterday dollar yen, and that was one that we ran for triple digit pips, but because that did have specific reasons as to why to hold on to that trade. This one, I don't. So it's counter to what's been going on this last day or so, but now I can see it's coming off a little bit more. So I'm going to have a look through the charts, and we'll see if we can identify another trading opportunity this morning. Right, just back, and I've identified potentially another trade. So let's have a look. It's dollar CAD. It's a weaker trade again, but we'll see if I can do anything with it. Let's bring up dollar CAD. Oh, let's type it in then. USD. Sometimes it's saved and sometimes it's not. So if we can get a little dip down to the lower band, it's really, really tight. I'm trying to do this very tight trading this morning because don't have any two major views or anything bigger that I want to be in. So a little push down to the lower band here on the 5 minute chart. With a stop down below this low. This low's at 131.026, so I'd put a stop at 0.2 on my platform, which means the guys in the room probably have to have a stop at 0.1. So that's what I'll look at there. So I'm just changing my charts around so I can see dollar CAD off screen. And we'll see if it can come down for that. I mean, from a risk perspective, all I'm doing is risking giving back most of my 50 quid on the first trade. But if it works out, then then I might just end up making, I might get to £100 today at this rate. It would be a really big day, but I suspect that's going to be my lot. But anyway, we'll see. The target would be about 27. What I'll do is I'll split this into two halves. I'll take half off at the 8 AM pivot, and then run half to that 27. That's what I would do. The 8 AM pivot is up at 15, so I'm looking to get in around about 06, and then we'll take it from there and we'll see. So let's see if we can get down there. I'll press pause for now. So at the moment, I was just waiting to see if we're going to hit the lower band to get this entry off on dollar CAD. You can see it's got very close to the lower band, but no hit, no cigar. So just still playing a waiting game here with the guys in the room to see if it can get down there or if it's going to come straight up. If it comes straight up to this 15 area, then the whole trade will be null and void. So why? Because that's where the 8 AM pivot is. That would have been the first target if I could have got in down here. The second target would be up at 27. So if it gets the first level of resistance, then before I can even get in, then it's a bit pointless. So we'll wait and see. Okay, just back, and this dollar CAD, which I was looking to get in, it was so close to us getting the entry, but it's already got up to that, pretty much up to that first target area now. So this dollar CAD's opportunity has passed me by. So I'll press pause. We'll see if there's anything else developing as we go through this morning. I do want this video out this morning though, because we've been having some sound issues. If I go out all day and then come back and finish it off, then the sound just drops and then the end of the video doesn't work. So I don't want that to happen today. So this one's going to be out early today. I shall press pause for now. Now I'm just back and I was just talking to the guys in the trading room about this very subject because we've just taken that little trade on the dollar yen. The dollar CAD, I've missed the opportunity on dollar CAD because that has now gone up, and so that was again a very I was only looking for these small intraday trades today. But I was just saying to the guys, do you know what? I was looking at the dollar yen and thinking, at some point there might be another trade set up on dollar yen, maybe. But in the main, I don't actually feel like trading today. It's Friday, it's the end of the week. I've had a 5-figure week. I was just talking to the guys in the room. And you get to a point where you say, actually, it's the end of the week. Do I want to finish the week on a negative? Not that even if I lost a few £100 on a trade, it's really a much of a negative, but I just don't feel like I want to be in the saddle today much. And I think that it's good to recognize your own emotions and your own if you've had a good week, do you have to trade? Fun enough, we had an email from a trader just a day, I think it was yesterday, saying just this. He said, look, he's had a really good week, he's smashed his weekly target, and as he's approaching the end of the month, he's already well up for the month, and he was considering whether to trade today, that's Friday, and Monday or Tuesday, because then it's the end of the month. And I said on my email response, yeah, just take the rest of the month off because you've had a good month. And there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes we get so caught up in, right, got to trade, there must be another setup. And we forget that our job is not necessarily to trade, our job is to make money. And there are two sides to that. So sometimes you say, do you know what, I've made a reasonable amount of pippage this week. Do I need to actually trade today? So with that in mind, I'm going to leave that with you. I'm going to call this video a wrap, and it's only 10 to 9 today. Now, I might do something more with the traders in the room, but I think we've had a little trade there on the dollar yen today. If you follow me on Twitter or anything like that, then I do post up the various things I'm doing, so you'll see that on Twitter. It's been there's been a lot cashed in this week, so we're going to leave it like that. So a small trade there this morning, just left it, and I think it's a good lesson from today is to say, yeah, recognise it. It's nearly the end of the month. Certainly, it's a Friday. It's been a good week. Let's actually not just trade for the sake of it. Have a great weekend. See you next week.